Main event, a one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Winnipeg, Canada, weighing 248 pounds, Kerry Brown. From Los Angeles, California, weighing 325 pounds, Big John Studd. Referee, Joe Tangaro.
Kerry Brown opposes Big John Studd, and I'll tell you something, they put Studd on the scale just before this match, and he came in at 325 pounds. Stands 6'9", he is a bear. And Kerry Brown, who's been going real good of late, has his hands full today against Big John Studd, a man with a tremendous reputation. Studd just shoves Kerry Brown halfway across the ring. Kerry has to take a little look at this situation.
Tell him about that, Daddy.
He says to tell him about that. Well, you could see it for yourself, the power that man has. A protege of Killer Kowalski. Crowd starts yelling, "We want Brody, we want Andre." Well, Big John Studd will be in that massive Wrestle Royal with Andre and Brody. That should be something. Think of the size in that big 16-man Wrestle Royal. Just take the 5 biggest men alone, and you've got over 1,700 pounds. Kerry Brown pitched away again by Big John Studd, who wades in with a vicious kick to the stomach of Kerry Brown. Oh, Brown powered into that corner. Studd charges it and misses. Kerry Brown rolled away, and then Kerry puts a side headlock on Big John Studd. Yes, sir, in that Wrestle Royal, you take the 5 biggest men, Andre, Baker, Tyler, Studd, Brody, and you're going to have over 1,700 pounds during just those 5 alone. All 16 combatants guaranteed will be over 4,400 pounds during that Wrestle Royal, so you can call it the 2-ton Wrestle Royal if you want, because more than 2 tons of muscle will be in that ring at once in the Wrestle Royal. And of course, Andre the Giant, he's always the man to beat in a Wrestle Royal. He's the biggest of the big, 7'5", 465 pounds. Kerry Brown tried to pitch Big John over the hips and couldn't do it. Big John lifts Kerry Brown, throws him away. Kerry landed on his feet, trying a flying tackle. Try it again, punk, says Big John Studd. Oh, flying cross body block. Brilliant move by Kerry Brown. He nearly got a pin as he surprised Big John Studd with a flying cross body block. Good move by Kerry, but Big John, so powerful, just threw Kerry Brown off. Big John Studd, I'll tell you, he's got a lot of victories under his belt up around Minnesota, Wisconsin, parts of Canada. Prior to that, up in Hawaii and Japan, he did real well. Main event after main event, and Big John Studd has his eyes on the top, the World Heavyweight Championship and the Missouri State title. He has the credentials. He misses that forearm smash. Kerry Brown doesn't miss. Side headlock again on Big John Studd. Kerry has to keep that head pulled forward on Studd. If he lets Studd straighten up, well, Kerry's going up into the air. You can count on that. Kerry pitched to the ropes. And Studd sends Kerry Brown flying. Oh! Elbow drop from Big John Studd right across the back of the ribs. Kerry Brown in trouble just from one bounce because Big John is so big and strong. Big John lifts Kerry Brown and slams him backwards into the buckles. You talk about a man who knows how to use his size. You're looking at it right now in Big John Studd. He knows how to use that hugeness, that immense bulk in his favor. And you know he's not fat. Look at him. He's well proportioned. Big chest, big shoulders and arms. There's that forearm smash. Oh, he has a wicked one. It's legal. No problem about that. That forearm is legal, but when he drives it home, it's like crashing a sledgehammer on target. Big John Studd pulls back on the head of Kerry Brown. Joe Tangaro right in there. It's not a strangle, and Kerry Brown not giving up. Believe it or not, Big John Studd was a college basketball star. He's put on a lot of weight since then. Obviously, he's bulked up using the weights, but can you imagine him under a backboard? He'd knock a few heads around. Ask him now, says Big John. We understand that he's been developing a hard punch to go along with his hanging backbreaker. And Kerry Brown, caught right there, his chin pulled back, is going to have to be careful and avoid either the hard punch or the hanging backbreaker. He has to negate the size advantage Big John Studd has. as Kevin Von Erich will have to do in that big match coming up between Big John Studd and Kevin Von Erich. Kerry Brown is about 13 pounds heavier than Kevin, so that gives you some idea how much weight and size that Kevin Von Erich's going to give away against Big John. He's going to give away 7 inches in height and close to 100 pounds in weight. On the other hand, as tall as Big John is, there's going to be an inviting target for Kevin Von Erich's cross-body scissors right across the midsection.
5 minutes have passed, 10 minutes left.
The forearm smash drives Kerry Brown down to the mat. Big John lifts Kerry Brown, pitches him away with a body slam. Big John Studd with a flying mare. He just manhandles Kerry Brown. And Kerry's nearly 250 pounds. John Studd pulling back. Look at the shoulders. No neck on that guy. It's all muscle. This goes right from shoulders into the head. He's so strong through the upper body. Just imagine what will happen if in the Wrestle Royal came down to, say, him and Andre, or him and Brody. Brody and Studd locked horns briefly in a recent tag match. Boy, that was a war. Let me tell you, they pounded on each other. Kerry Brown trying to come to his feet. Drives an elbow to the stomach, but that stomach's just as good a target for Big John Studd as Kerry Brown found out the hard way. Studd grabs the arm of Kerry Brown, hurls him across the ring, and kicks him right in the breadbasket, right in the solar plexus. Big John goes on the second rope, flying knee drop into the chest. It wasn't the throat. It was close, but it was not the throat. Count of one. Kerry Brown shoves off Big John Studd, and that takes some exertion right there to shove Big John around. Kerry Brown gasping to get his win. He has picked up a few bruises against Big John Studd. What a powerhouse. What a challenge that's going to be for Kevin Von Erich, and you can bet Kevin knows it. Can he use the claw against this man? Can he get the iron claw on Big John? Cross-body scissors might be the way to go, though. Big John Studd is tall. He's not carrying a whole lot of excess weight through the midsection. He's slim through there. That cross-body scissors maybe could work against Big John, but the question will be if he gets it on John while he's standing, can he ride Studd down? It's like trying to pull down the arch. And as big as Studd is, think how much size he gives away to Andre the Giant in the Wrestle Royal. It's Kerry Brown. There's pounding on Big John. He lifts the big man. 325 pounds slammed by Brown. But did you see Studd maneuver while on his back to swing those big legs around and drop Kerry Brown? Hey, Big John Studd just showed you something. He was slammed, but he didn't lose his composure. He managed to scoot around while on his back and knock Kerry Brown down. Just like Andre the Giant, Big John Studd shows you there's more to this business than just size. There's more to being successful than just being big. And it's things like that that have made Big John Studd a main event attraction throughout the country. Flying elbow drop by Studd. He moves around. Brown manages to lift the shoulder. Studd scores again with that elbow drop. Brown gets the shoulder up, but he's got to generate some offense now. Studd, with his size and with his muscle, has been wearing down Kerry Brown, and Kerry has to get something going offensively. It's not a strangle, but that head's been twisted. The neck's got to be sore on Kerry Brown. He has to be aching. You know, you talk about the big men. How about that team of Andre the Giant and King Kong Brody? Can they even bury the hatchet long enough to work together against Nature Boy Ric Flair and Dick Murdoch? Two teams that could be awesome if they can get along. If Andre the Giant and King Kong Brody can work together. If the egos of Nature Boy Ric Flair and Dick Murdoch can survive, that could be the wildest tag match ever in St. Louis wrestling history. Andre and Brody on the same team. Big John Studd pounds Kerry Brown down to the canvas. Studd towers over Brown. Moves behind him, lifts him to the air. Oh, look at that atomic knee drop. Slamming the tailbone into his knee. Count of one, count of two. Kerry Brown gets away. Studd is showing us a lot of weapons here. Kevin Von Erich, take note. You know, we mentioned in that tag match, Andre and Brody, if they can get along, that probably requires a little explanation. You know, they have been opponents here in St. Louis before. And I'm sure that it's only the fact that Dick Murdoch's on the other team that Sam Muchnick was ever able to get King Kong Brody to agree to be Andre the Giant's partner, because Brody detests tag matches to begin with. But go back to the last 4 Royals in St. Louis. The last 4 Royals that Andre the Giant was here for and entered. Andre won 3 of those 4 Wrestle Royals. The only one he didn't win was taken by King Kong Brody. So Brody and Andre may be partners at one point and enemies at another.
10 minutes have expired, 5 minutes left.
Big John Studd squeezing ahead of Kerry Brown. Kerry's made a game effort, but Studd so far has just been too big and powerful. Big John twisting that head. Look at him smiling at the crowd. He knows things are going well. He knows he's in control. He forces the head of Kerry Brown down and then stomps on Kerry Brown. Kerry getting up slower. Where's that adrenaline? Kerry's thinking, come on. He's got to do something against Big John. Take him off his feet and keep him off his feet. Oh, Studd clotheslines Kerry Brown. John Studd clotheslines Brown. Kerry, groggy, tries to come up. Studd, whoop, look out, backslide by Kerry Brown, this could be it. No, Studd yanks the arm free. All that weight over his shoulders, that could have been a tough spot for Big John Studd. Now Kerry tries to follow up. Studd hangs right in there, whips Brown to the ropes. Jackknife cradle, the jackknife and the cradle, but Studd again, too quick with all that size, rolled away. Drop kick by Kerry, Studd keeps his feet. A second drop kick, Studd stepped away. Elbow drop to the back of Kerry Brown. Brown missed the drop kick. The first drop kick didn't do the job. It didn't knock him off his feet. Big John lifts Kerry Brown over the top, the hanging backbreaker. That's one of his favorites, the hanging backbreaker by Big John Studd. Look at him pulling the arms out so the pain and the pressure is even more into the spine. Kerry Brown gives up. Tangaro tries to get Big John Studd to release the hanging backbreaker. And that was one impressive victory for Big John Studd. Oh, what a challenge Kevin Von Erich has coming up. Let's hear from Mickey Garagiola.
11 minutes and 39 seconds with the hanging backbreaker. The winner, Big John Studd.
There comes Kerry Brown off the ropes, trying for that jackknife and cradle, pulling Big John backward. As you can watch in slow motion, Kerry trying to trap the shoulders down. Studd managed to get the shoulders up, and from there, Big John went on to follow up and get the victory over Kerry with a hanging backbreaker. We'll talk to Big John Studd right after this. Watch as Big John Studd polishes off Kerry Brown with that hanging backbreaker. Studd lifting Brown overhead, stretching the back out, stretching out the spine, and that's how Big John Studd won today on Wrestling at the Chase from Kerry Brown. And I guess, John, that's one of the holds you would love to use on Kevin Von Erich.
Right. Just another example of the power and the strength and the wrestling ability that John Studd, 6'9", 325-pound possesses. You know, I'm very hungry. I got a lot of goals, and a lot of them are set right here. I'm after Kevin Von Erich, you know. I don't like his daddy. I used to beat up his daddy, and what would be a greater insult to his father, a greater punishment than to punish one of his sons and destroy him and beat him right in the middle of the ring.
You have so much size over Kevin Von Erich, it's going to be difficult for him.
That's right. Size and strength prevails in all my wrestling ability. Do you notice how I grab him and I punish him and I hurt him before I beat him? Punishment's the name of the game. It's not wrestling, it's punishment. And the toughest man wins. Now I got some bigger goals set in front of me. 1, destroy Bruiser Brody. I've been chasing him for a long time. 2, beat Andre the Giant. The only man in professional wrestling today that's a shade taller and a shade bigger than I am. I've chased this man from coast to coast. And you know what? I have a feeling I got him cornered. And when I grab Andre the Giant, all 464 pounds, all 7'5" of him, and I smash him right in the center of the ring, and then I pick him up for the backbreaker, it's going to be all over. And I can say to all you people out there, I told you so.
Of course, you will be in that giant wrestle royal with Andre, with Brody, with people like the Bruiser, Ox Baker. You'll have to throw them over the top rope. You're saying that you can lift Andre the Giant. Do I understand that correctly? You can lift Andre?
Not only am I saying it, I will show all you people in the wrestling world that I can do it. And yet, my goals are even set higher than that. One Harley Race, the world's heavyweight champion. Do you think Harley Race could withstand the punishment I dished out to this punk tonight? This punk, he was a ringer. He was a lot better than the promoters told me he was. He was a lot tougher. Yet I prevailed. I destroyed him right in the center of the ring. Bruiser Brody, Andre the Giant, the same lies for you. Where I travel, I leave nothing but a trail of broken wrestlers behind me. I have one goal, and that's to the top, the World Heavyweight Championship. And no one will stand in my way. Do you understand it? No one will stand in my way.
Big John Studd. He obviously has the size and the power to back up what he says. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
The fourth bout, an Australian tag team match, most falls to curfew. Introducing from Montreal, Canada, weighing 233 pounds, Jerry Roberts. From St. Joe, Missouri, weighing 250 pounds, Bruce Reed. From Winnipeg, Canada, weighing 246 pounds, Bulldog Bob Brown. From Seattle, Washington, weighing 284 pounds, Tiny Anderson.
Tiny Anderson makes his St. Louis debut as the tag team partner of Bulldog Bob Brown against Bruce Reed and newcomer Jerry Roberts. Heard a lot of good things about this Jerry Roberts. We'll keep an eye on him. Reed forced to the ropes by Tiny Anderson. Forearm smash from Anderson. Reed battles back with an elbow to Anderson's head. And then a drop kick by Big Bruce Reed. Arm drag by Reed, and Tiny Anderson is flung to the mat. Anderson gets to his feet. Reed makes a tag with Jerry Roberts. Young Canadian wrestler has quite a reputation around his native Quebec. He twists the arm of Tiny Anderson. Jerry has just invaded the Midwest, and a lot of people are expecting big things from Jerry. Slender, but they say he can really take to the air. Double wrist lock by Roberts on Tiny Anderson. Joe Tangaro made sure that Anderson didn't pull the tights. Quick tag made to Bruce Reed. Reed with an elbow smash to the shoulder of Tiny Anderson. Then Reed yanks out that arm. Anderson counters. Reed rolls down and kicks Anderson away. Tag made to the Bulldog. The crowd hoots, hollers, and barks at Bulldog Bob Brown. This guy could go into the quietest room in the St. Louis area and start all sort of trouble. Bulldog Bob Brown and Bruce Reed tie up. Reed forces Brown to the ropes. Why don't you break it up, complains Brown to referee Joe Tangaro. Brown's the only guy who can start an argument with himself, I think.
And get answers, too.
Yeah, that's the problem. Bulldog Bob Brown reaches out and slaps Bruce Reed. Reed says, "You want a box?" Brown says, "I just slapped him. My hand was open," and he complains to Tangaro. Tangaro says, "Let's wrestle."
Five minutes left, 5 minutes.
5 minutes remain. It's most falls to curfew. Reed and Roberts against Brown and Anderson. Side headlock by Reed on the Bulldog. Reed yanks that head around and around and around. Here comes Jerry Roberts. Reed and Roberts tagging off very well. And Roberts bounces ahead of the Bulldog. Brown forced down to one knee by Jerry Roberts. Roberts twisting that head. You know, we've seen a couple of interesting tag team combinations today. One, of course, the Kelly twins. Now two youngsters in Reed and Roberts. But how about that one coming up? Spike Huber and Dick the Bruiser together for the first time in St. Louis. Dick the Bruiser and his son-in-law. Spike Huber against a pair of guys who can break the scale, Buzz Tyler and Ox Baker. Buzz comes in around 323, Ox Baker at 308. Spike Huber's going to be the littlest guy in that ring, but I don't think it bothers Spike when it comes to fire and spunk and determination. Spike Huber gives nothing away to anyone. Spike Huber and Dick the Bruiser, father-in-law, son-in-law, together for the first time in St. Louis against Tyler and Baker. What a card that is, top to bottom. And, of course, everyone eligible for that Wrestle Royal. 16 of the 18 men on the lineup will be in the Wrestle Royal, all in the ring at once. The side headlock of Bruce Reed on Bulldog Bob Brown seems to be doing the job so far. There's a guy with a tremendous physique, Bruce Reed, a native of St. Joseph, Missouri. He's leaning over the top of Brown, trying to force Brown's shoulders down for a pin. Brown toying with the idea of grabbing the hair, but Tangaro slapped the hand away. Brown pulls the hair, Tangaro stops him. Reed still has the side headlock on the Bulldog. Here comes Jerry Roberts. Side headlock by Roberts. Worked for Reed, Roberts will try it. Remember, most falls to curfew. Whichever squad has the most falls when time expires will be the winner. Hey! Drop kick by Jerry Roberts. Pull that one out of the hat, and Anderson won't tag. That's not going to make Bulldog Bob Brown any too happy. Anderson wouldn't tag Bulldog Bob Brown. I think Anderson was a bit shook up by that drop kick from Jerry Roberts. He saw how quickly and easily Roberts took to the air. And Brown definitely has been thrown off balance. Brown and Roberts circle. Brown leans into Roberts against the ropes.
2 minutes left, 2 minutes.
Roberts leapfrogged over the top. Anderson again, refusing to tag Bulldog Bob Brown. Roberts offers to let Anderson into the ring. What's wrong with you? And Bulldog Bob Brown complains at Anderson. Anderson doing a lot of yelling, but no tagging. Bulldog Bob Brown must feel alone. Brown very cautious as he comes to grips with Roberts, then lashes out with a boot to the stomach and a punch to the cheek. Hard chop to Roberts. Bulldog can take care of himself. Don't kid yourself. Roberts reeling after that slash to the throat. Another chop, and down goes Jerry Roberts. Roberts slams head first into the top turnbuckle.
1 minute left, 1 minute.
Less than a minute remaining, no falls yet. Roberts reverses the whip. Drop kick by Jerry Roberts. This time Anderson makes the tag. Anderson crawling up on the ropes. The tag has been made. Anderson with the atomic drop misses. Anderson missed an atomic drop and hit Bulldog Brown. And Brown takes a kick at Tiny Anderson. Brown insisted. Anderson and Brown punches Tiny Anderson in the head. Anderson refused to tag, and then when he did, hit Brown with an atomic drop. Roberts and Reed just waiting. Brown lifts Anderson. Body slam by Bulldog Bob Brown, his own tag team partner. Roberts comes flying off the rope with a drop kick. Roberts covers Anderson. Count of 1, 2, and did he get it? Yes, 3. The count of 3. And Bulldog Bob Brown made no move to help Tiny Anderson for obvious reasons. Brown just stood aside. And if Mr. Anderson would like to square off again, Brown, it seems to be more than willing. Let's make it official. That's the only fall it's going to fit in the curfew. So Roberts and Reed win it. Here's Mickey.
With time running out, the winner of the only fall and the match, Jerry Roberts, Bruce Reed.
Hey everybody, this is John Layfield, better known as JBL from the WWE, at one time the longest reigning WWE champion in SmackDown television history, the glory days of professional wrestling. If you like what you're watching, we've got on Backstage Pass, you got to get it now. What were they thinking? A wonderful program of me and Mr. Gerald Briscoe talking about the craziest stories in the history of professional wrestling, all with my partner, Mr. Briscoe, who hired me in 1995.
I hired you. What the hell was I thinking?
Event, a one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing from Waxahachie, Texas, weighing 268 pounds, Dick Murdoch. And from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, weighing 236 pounds, Steve Hall. Referee Joe Tangaro.
Dick Murdoch makes his presence known to Mickey Garagiola. Some complaint with Mickey. Now Murdoch tells Steve Hall to take that and wait a minute until he's ready.
And he is here.
What's he mad at you about, Mick?
When he gets introduced, you don't want nobody else introduced, just him.
Just him. How does he think his opponent will be introduced, I wonder? And his opponent today is Steve Hall, who has quite a bit of work cut out ahead of him, but an arm drag by Hall quickly puts Dick Murdoch on the mat.
I like that little hairdo. Look at the way he's got it combed nice.
Combed real nice. What's because he's in St. Louis?
Yeah, like a little Boy Scout.
With his unfavored promoter, Sam Muchnick.
By all means.
Boy, there's a feud that's lasted for some time. As far as Dick Murdoch is concerned, Sam Muchnick has gone out of his way to do everything to deter, to hold back, to slow down the career of Dick Murdoch. Of course, Murdoch also says, I'll take on anyone. Well, Sam Muchnick has taken him at his word. And that's why Dick Murdoch has a match coming up with Andre the Giant. 465 pounds, 7'4", going head-to-head, 1 against 1 with Dick Murdoch. Of course, Murdoch and Nature Boy Ric Flair recently won an all-in team match from Andre and Rocky Johnson. And Murdoch certainly showed no fear of Andre. He went right in there, tore into Andre, and they had quite a Donnybrook both in and out of the ring, while Flair was managing to pin Rocky Johnson. Murdoch with a side headlock on Steve Hall. Hall tried to pull back Murdoch's chin, but couldn't do it. Murdoch even now is complaining right now about Sam Muchnick. He says, what is this, part of a conspiracy from Muchnick? He wanted to know how come referee Joe Tangaro wouldn't get down and count the shoulders of Steve Hall.
He keeps hollering, where's old man Muchnick? Old man Muchnick. What does he mean, old man Muchnick? It's about Sam's age.
I'm going to tell Dick Murdoch you said that.
You will, and you and I, the partnership is gone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Dick Murdoch may yell, and he may complain, and he may gripe about Sam Muchnick, but he's always willing to come to St. Louis because he knows this is where the very best are. He knows where the #1 promoter in the world is. And you heard Dick Murdoch right there saying, boy, it's good to be back in St. Louis as he pounds on Steve Hall. Murdoch yanks Hall out to the center of the ring. There is one tough customer, Dick Murdoch. They don't come any tougher than Murdoch. Believe me. And he can wrestle. He can get down there. He knows the holds, but his personality is so explosive, so belligerent, so rambunctious. Hall with a good move. Catches Murdoch in a head scissors. Murdoch trying to kick his way out of trouble, but Hall has the head gripped too securely. Hall balancing up on one knee, and you can hear the muffled cries of Dick Murdoch. Hall applying extra pressure to the head of Murdoch.
I tell you, this Murdoch can wrestle for 20 minutes and give you a 20-minute commercial at the same time.
He's yelling, talking. That's just the way the guy is. That's no put on from Murdoch. That's the way Dick Murdoch is. He's an outgoing, totally unpredictable, never quiet individual. You just never know what to expect from him. He's unpredictable. Well, one thing you can't predict. More often than not, he's going to win. You look at that record, and he has taken on all the top stars all around the world, and he's scored victories. He is definitely a top contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm sure that Andre the Giant recognizes that Murdoch is certainly a threat to Andre's reputation, too, because Murdoch will do anything, absolutely anything, to get a victory over Andre. Knee lift to the stomach by Murdoch. Hard kick to the chest by Murdoch as he pops Steve Hall. Murdoch pounding on the face of Steve Hall. Joe Tangaro cautions Murdoch to keep that hand open. And there goes Steve Hall through the ropes to the apron. And here comes Murdoch outside the ring after Hall. A kick to the chest by Murdoch. He grabs Hall. And Hall slammed into the press table by Murdoch. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Murdoch's learned a few things from Dick the Bruiser, too, and that's a long-running feud as Steve Hall tries to regain his composure outside the ring. Joe Tangaro trying to keep Murdoch back. The crowd begins chanting Bruiser and Andre. Murdoch twists all around, drives an elbow into the throat. An elbow into the throat by Murdoch, who's pounding on Steve Hall.
5 minutes have elapsed, 15 minutes left.
Murdoch again with an elbow to the chest that time of Hall, and Hall is knocked off the apron to the floor as Murdoch is battering Steve Hall. Can you imagine what's going to happen when Murdoch tries those tactics on Andre the Giant? Hall slowly through the ropes, and Murdoch right on top of him, pounding Hall in the head. Murdoch bangs on the head of Steve Hall. Flying mare by Dick Murdoch. Hard stomp to the jaw. Murdoch driving 268 pounds into the head of Steve Hall, and then Murdoch with a chin lock pulls Hall's head back over the knee. Look where Murdoch's knee is, right in the neck, so that Murdoch can apply full pressure as he yanks back on that chin. What misery Steve Hall's in, but Hall throws a punch. Another punch by Hall. Hall's head is off the knee of Murdoch. Hall trying to get up, but Murdoch hangs on with a lot of power, a lot of strength right there. And now Murdoch goes to work on Hall, pounding on the face of Steve Hall. Well, Hall paid for punching Murdoch right there. Look at Murdoch, almost with one arm, shades of King Kong Brody there a little bit. Murdoch lifted Hall so easily. Murdoch dominating the action. Hall whipped to the ropes. Murdoch with an elbow underneath Hall's chin. Murdoch taking time to luxuriate in it right now. He knows he's in command. He hooks Hall's head, setting him up for that standing suplex, the Texas Brainbuster, as Murdoch calls it. Murdoch driving the head backwards into the mat, then Murdoch coming up on top of Hall, and Dick Murdoch runs roughshod over Steve Hall, finishing him off with the Texas Brainbuster, and then some rather harsh words between Joe Tangaro and Dick Murdoch. And you know Joe Tangaro was a very capable wrestler, and he's not too happy with Murdoch's tactics, and he gives Murdoch a very stern warning. Let's hear from Mickey Garagiola.
In 6 minutes and 51 seconds, with the Texas Brainbreaker, the winner, Dick Murdoch.
Dick Murdoch told promoter Sam Muchnick that he would wrestle anyone if it would lead to a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship. So now, Dick, you've taken on as tough an opponent, you're facing as tough an opponent as you could possibly meet in Andre the Giant. Head-to-head, one-on-one. Dick, are you afraid of Andre? Do you have any thoughts going into this battle with Andre?
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm not afraid of a man walking, but I'm not a freak of nature. I'm just a natural, raw-boned, 275-pound, rugged individual from the great state of Texas, not a 7'4", 460-pound freak of nature.
Well, Dick, you sound pretty confident. Let's take a look at just what you might be up against when you meet Andre the Giant. Let's take a look at that now. There's Andre, 7'4", 465 pounds. Dick, you're giving away 200 pounds to him.
Well, you know, Andre the Giant's a big, big individual. He's the biggest man in the world, but don't you listen to these people. They think finally somebody's going to be able to whip Dick Murdoch. Well, it's not going to be Andre the Giant, because that man he's wrestling is not the caliber of Dick Murdoch. Dick Murdoch is the #1 contender for the world's crown and going to be the next world's heavyweight.
The crowd obviously seems to disagree about your chances against Andre the Giant, Dick.
Well, let me say one thing. You know, the last time I was at Kiel, you and that conspirator, Sam Muchnick, that so-called wrestling promoter, called in some kind of threat on Bruiser Brody, and he couldn't show up. So I went out and I handily whipped, without even breaking a sweat, Brian St. John. Then I went back in a tag team match and was Ric Flair's tag team partner, and we cleaned Andre the Giant, that so-called Rocky Johnson, around and whipped him. And then you've got to admit it, and everybody that jam-packed that arena's got to admit it, that in the Battle Royal, I single-handed took that old, over-the-hill, old man Dick the Bruiser and threw him like a dart, and he was out. Now, am I telling the truth or not?
That's true, Dick. I can't argue with that. You were on the winning side of the tag match. You did beat St. John, and you did eliminate Dick the Bruiser from the Royal.
And then I picked Andre the Giant up and had him up over my head with these big raw bone arms of mine. And as I had him up, another rat and stooge, Pat O'Connor, and somebody else hit me from behind, and I went over the top rope.
One thing, though, you're eliminating. You know, Andre did win the Royal. Not you. Andre won the Royal.
Certainly on the Royal is because there wasn't another man left in there when I got eliminated. I am the only man that has ever set foot in this St. Louis, Missouri area that can be considered a man or an athlete, and that's including anybody that plays for a so-called St. Louis Cardinals football team, or the baseball team, or the hockey team, or the basketball team. And you know what happened as soon as I come back here? That gutless Conrad Dobler took off too. Where did he go? To New Orleans or someplace?
Well, Dick, that gets away from the point of Andre the Giant, though. Now, today, you used the Texas Brainbuster to beat a man. Can you get Andre the Giant up in the air like that?
Well, what are these? What are these? Voices, opinions?
Well, what's your opinion?
You sound like a bunch of hired co-sales sitting out there. You don't know what the heck you're talking about. Andre the Giant, if I do get him up, if I do get Andre the Giant up in my Brainbuster, he will hit 10 on the Richter scale in Honolulu, Hawaii. I think it's the biggest earthquake it ever hit. Now, let me lay claim to this. When I beat Andre the Giant, I want Sam Mushnick to ink a contract with me and whoever the world's champion is at that time, and you will definitely, including you, will be calling me the next world's heavyweight wrestling champion.
Dick Murdoch, the man who asked for it, and now he's got it, a showdown with Andre the Giant. We'll be back with another match after this.
The second main event, a one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Superior, Wisconsin, weighing 237 pounds, Ted Reynolds. And from Santa Fe, New Mexico, weighing 324 pounds, King Kong Brody.
King Kong Brody opposes Ted Reynolds. And as loud as Dick Murdoch is, I think King Kong Brody might well be able to match him. He was howling all the way from the moment he stepped outside the dressing room door. You could hear him here in the studio about 20 seconds before you could see him. King Kong Brody, 6'6", 324 pounds, against Ted Reynolds. Brody pulls forward on Reynolds' head, now leans into Reynolds, puts Reynolds on the rope. Referee Charles Venator asks for a clean break and gets one from King Kong Brody. A bit of a surprise, and I even heard a few people applauding for Brody. How long do you think this is going to last? Has King Kong Brody turned over a new leaf?
30 seconds.
Boy, you're an optimist. Side headlock by Brody on Ted Reynolds. Reynolds tried to reach up to break Brody's grip, but Brody, a true powerhouse, squeezes the head of Reynolds. You don't understand, there's some bad blood between Brody and Murdoch now. Brody, as you recall, for that All-In Team match, was originally scheduled to be Ric Flair's partner against Andre the Giant and Rocky Johnson. Brody got trapped in Texas by the snowstorm that hit that night. He couldn't make connections. He even drove all the way from San Antonio to Dallas in hopes that he could get a different connection to St. Louis. Couldn't make it. Murdoch had to step in as a substitute, and of course, as you know, Murdoch and Flair won. Brody, though, seems upset that Murdoch stepped in there, and he's very upset that Murdoch's getting all this credit for being part of a winning tag team against Andre the Giant. And of course, you heard Murdoch sounding off, bragging about the fact that he stepped in there, was on the winning team. So right now, there's a little bad blood even between Brody and Murdoch.
Murdoch has really got a fan club going, I'll say that.
Look at Brody. Well, he started to charge off the ropes and then stopped. Yeah, Murdoch has quite a fan club. You're the president, I think, Mick.
I tell you, anybody driving down Lindell and Kings Highway will be wondering what is Harold Copeland booking in the car sound when Murdoch and Brody come walking in the ring here.
You'll hear him, and there goes the rule book as Brody did not break cleanly that time, and with those massive forearms, pounds on Ted Reynolds. Brody, more intent than ever now to prove his medal in St. Louis because of the ill fate that kept him in Texas and away from that big team match. Brody, more determined than ever. He's made it known. He wants anybody, anytime, anywhere to prove he belongs in main events and that he deserves a crack at the World Heavyweight Champion. Look at that, one arm body slam by King Kong Brody. Brody with a hard kick to Reynolds' head. Brody is waiting as Reynolds tries to get up, and then Brody lashes out with a big boot and kicks Reynolds in the head. Lying there by Brody. And then Brody locks Reynolds' head and squeezes it. Brody, a former professional football player, a man who has rapidly gone up in the ranks of professional wrestling. We see a fan waving a banana at King Kong Brody.
I know if King Kong Brody ever goes out of the ring, I don't think that fan's going to be waving that banana too
He's
long.
waving it from the third row. I
believe that.
Brody squeezing Reynolds' head and then pounds on the forehead of Reynolds. Brody with another vicious kick to Reynolds' head. Brody methodically now smiles at the crowd as he grabs Reynolds and strangles Reynolds over the top rope. Hard forearm smash to the back like a sledgehammer. Brody driving that forearm across Reynolds' back, and Charles Venator scolds Brody for refusing to break and for not breaking cleanly on the ropes. Brody hurls Reynolds across the ring and into the turnbuckles. Reynolds taking a pounding right now from King Kong Brody, and against someone as strong and huge as Brody, you can't afford to take too much punishment. You have to fight back rapidly. Reynolds was practically stuck, impaled on those buckles there, as Brody, oh, what power. He's almost indescribable. He's so huge, so awesome. King Kong Brody. Brody with that forearm into the chest of Reynolds. And there goes Reynolds into the ropes, tumbles to the apron and finally to the floor. Brody trying to get out after Reynolds, but Charles Venator stopped him.
Five minutes have expired, 10 minutes left.
King Kong Brody in a foul mood, trying to make sure that everybody knows he's around. And I'll guarantee you Ted Reynolds knows he's here, because Reynolds is going to have a collection of bruises unmatched in the world of professional sports tomorrow. Brody all over Ted Reynolds. Another smash to the head by Brody. Reynolds sags to his feet, tries to get a hold of Brody, leans into Brody. Reynolds pounds on Brody. Brody just stands there and takes it. Look at Reynolds. He tried to pull Brody out of the corner. Brody wouldn't go. Brody lashes out with a kick to the stomach. Reynolds tried to do something against Brody, but Brody was just unmovable. Did you see that? A drop kick by a man weighing 324 pounds. Brody parallel to the mat, 6 foot into the air. A beautiful drop kick delivered by King Kong Brody. One arm spinning the man. Body slam. Brody to the ropes. Charges into the air. Giant flying knee drop by King Kong Brody. And Reynolds is finished. Brody, incensed, infuriated, wanting to make another impression on St. Louis to prove to you how good he is, that he didn't run out of a match, that it was just bad weather. Brody crushes Ted Reynolds. Here's Mickey.
In 6 minutes and 9 seconds, with a giant knee drop, the winner, King Kong Brody.
I am, yeah.
The only psycho here is me. Who will be coming?
Awesome, I can't wait, man. I thoroughly enjoyed my DiBiase that's supposedly coming.
We're gonna overwhelm each other, so.
I got a question.
Belong. Those belts were around their waist.
Hold on. Let me speak.
Finally, we've been waiting for you to come.
I wish.
All right, now just announced by Mr. Joel Maximo. What else you got?
Lucas wants a new belt.
Whoa.
I wish I could, what is it, Vic?
That's not even the real 43
Snapchat?
No, it's not.
All right. But today I got a very special guest.
If you don't know who I am,
I will never follow Papa Denk on Twitter.
Have been my favorite wrestlers, and it's like the first time.
Wrestling fans, you looking for the best in daily lunch specials and great menu food items? Look no further than Layla's Roadhouse, 440 Falling Springs Road in Cahokia Heights, Illinois. That's right, a family sit-down dining and always great specials. Also has the best pizza in the area.
Main event, a one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Kenosha, Wisconsin, weighing 234 pounds, Ben DeLeon. From Omaha, Nebraska, weighing 245 pounds, the Missouri State champion, Ted DiBiase.
Ben DeLeon takes on Missouri State champion Ted DiBiase, the man who relieved Ken Batera of the state crown and is in possession of the Missouri Laurels for the second time in his young, short, and brilliant career. DiBiase forced to the ropes by Ben DeLeon, a clean break from DeLeon. DiBiase finds DeLeon behind him. Ted switches nicely. Sit out by DeLeon. DiBiase riding. DeLeon, good move, gets the arm. Arm drag by Ben DeLeon. Head scissors by Ted DiBiase, and DeLeon manages to slip away. Fast movement by both Ben DeLeon and Ted DiBiase. And how about that Big John stud? He promises that he will lift Andre the Giant during that Wrestle Royal. Well now, that is something to wait and see. That would be quite a spectacle. I can't recall anyone having lifted Andre the Giant off his feet to slam him. Now, he's been eliminated a few times in Wrestle Royals when 4 or 5 guys ganged up on him, a couple guys on each leg, and they managed to lift him over and dump him over the top rope. The Big John stud, I don't think he's looking for help. He intends to do it himself. And he's as much as written off Kevin Von Erich. He intends to beat up Kevin Von Erich as an insult to Kevin's father, Fritz. Big man, big words. We'll see if he can back him up. It's Ted DiBiase against Ben DeLeon. Remember, in that Wrestle Royal, all 16 wrestlers go into the ring at one time. Each man is on his own. A wrestler is eliminated by being thrown over the top rope. The lone survivor in the ring is the winner and collects a lucrative prize made up of entry fees matched by amounts from the St. Louis Wrestling Club. Missouri State champion Ted DiBiase eyes Ben DeLeon, whose quickness seems to have surprised Ted just a little bit. But he's a thinking wrestler, an intelligent wrestler. He knows how to adjust. He knows so many different things, so many different maneuvers, offensive and defensive, that he can use. He adjusts in that ring beautifully. The wrestler's wrestler, Ted DiBiase. Good move. Side headlock, and DeLeon is trapped to the mat by Ted DiBiase. So smooth. You can't help but admire this guy's wrestling ability, Ted DiBiase. You can't help but like him personally. Fine young man, fine personality, well liked by everyone in all aspects of wrestling. Of course, wrestling has been his life, you know. His father, Iron Mike DiBiase, was a former national AAU champion. He also won the World Junior Heavyweight title as a professional, and he died in the ring, Mike DiBiase did. And I guess that's something that's etched in the memory of Ted DiBiase, something obviously he can never forget. Wrestling is born into this man, Ted DiBiase. Hip toss by DiBiase. DeLeon tried to flip DiBiase. Ted blocked it nicely, countered with a hip toss of his own. DeLeon is the one who's a bit baffled right now that a man as big as DiBiase, about 6'4", 6'5", 245 pounds, can move so quickly. Side headlock by DiBiase. Talk about people wanting a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship, belonging now to Harley Race. Big John Studd certainly made his point that he intends to get to Race. Well, certainly Ted DiBiase is in the hunt for that. And according to promoter Sam Muchnick, DiBiase might be right at the head of the pack right now. Of course, things change, and I'm sure Sam Muchnick has an open mind. You never know what other star might come up with some spectacular victory that could change the situation. But right now, I think you'd have to agree that Ted DiBiase is probably the leading contender for a crack at the World Heavyweight title at this time. Things change, though. Matches every night all over the country. You never know what can happen. Maybe Harley Race won't even be the world champion in another week or two. Anything can happen. DeLeon leans into DiBiase, tosses him across the ring. Flying tackle levels DeLeon. Oh, beautiful move by DiBiase. He almost got the pin with the small package. DeLeon was going to try to flip DiBiase. Did you see Ted just stop cold, bang, just like that, and roll DeLeon into the front rolling cradle? He nearly got a pin. High fireman's carry by Ben DeLeon. Good move. Head scissors by DiBiase. He has the answer for almost everything in that ring. You can ask people like King Kong Brody and Ox Baker and Ken Patera. They're all among the victims of Ted DiBiase. Good-looking young man who can back it up. When the going gets tough, believe me, he can get going. Want to wrestle? Want to trade holds? Want to trade leverages, balances, takedowns, escapes? He can do that. You want to get into Donnybrook? You want to trade punches and kicks? He can do that too. And DeLeon is issuing the invitation right now.
5 minutes have expired, 5 minutes left.
Ben DeLeon pounds on DiBiase in the corner. Great opportunity here for DeLeon to knock off the Missouri champion. DiBiase reverses the whip. Hard slash to the throat. Forearm smash to the cheekbone. DeLeon whip to the ropes. Elbow smash to the chin. Flying elbow drop by DiBiase. Count of one, count of two. DeLeon manages to get that shoulder up, but DiBiase is right on top of him. He lifts DeLeon. Falling body slam by Ted DiBiase. Spinning toe hold into the figure four leg lock. The figure four leg lock by Missouri State champion Ted DiBiase. DeLeon trapped in the center of the ring, and Ben DeLeon submits. Ben DeLeon gives his concession, and Ted DiBiase, the Missouri State champion, is victorious. That brings this capacity crowd to their feet, clapping and yelling in praise of Ted DiBiase. Let's hear from Mickey.
In 5 minutes and 46 seconds with the spinning with figure four, the winner, Missouri State champion Ted DiBiase.